Yeah, because they're just so narrow.
All right, back again. I don't know. OBS may have just killed my computer. That's maybe a problem we have in the future.
Thanks. So is the YouTube stream not going on anymore?
I had to restart it. So now there's basically the other one ended, and now there's a new one because they don't really let you resume the stream. It's just considered a separate video at that point. So,
Okay.
I called it part 2 and just kind of went on. I think I can change that later so that it has a better naming convention and whatnot. All right, great. Picking up.
Brian, can you bring this back?
Yes.
Get over there.
So Zamboni is trancing. What about the rest of y'all? Zakaria, what are you up to?
I am going to try and I feel like I maybe have gotten enough distance from the blimp. Does it seem like it's
Yeah, it's not following you and it's getting further away.
okay?
You zigzagged for a while, though occasionally you realized you backtracked a bit because you zigged too hard.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, if you had just zagged, it would have been fine. That would require you to take off every zig. But that is a really old reference, but
I got it.
There it is. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, well then I am going to try and make my subtle and unassuming way toward the Zorsiskin Quinter.
Subtle and unassuming Zakaria.
Yeah.
Okay.
I left my armor behind, so
Yeah.
risk.
It's easier.
Well,
Yeah. All right, so that's what you're up to. Let's talk about the 3 people that just entered the sewer together. So this is Honor, Peril, and Zoo. Actually, all 3 people. All 3.
Yeah.
What are we doing? It's fishy, it's splashy. It's really smelly.
Well, the thing is that, I think we saw the blimp kind of go off before we even went down the sewer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe we all go, maybe we don't need to go down into the sewer. Maybe we can just go.
I really like the idea of Zoom being we're going to the sewer, and they're we're going to the, and then we get there, and Honor's maybe not though, because
Honor's it's
There's got claws in the grate.
And I'm notice we're not actually being followed. It's not after us. So maybe we don't have to go down the smelly thing. Just a thought. I mean, getting lost among poo is not exactly what I would like to do for the rest of the evening.
We have prestidigitation.
I know. We can cast prestidigitation as often as possible.
Prestidigitation does not work on memories.
Peril is going to be Morton, are you okay? In message again.
Morton is getting something to drink, but
Yeah.
one. It takes a little while.
It's very worrying, Dan, where he is.
Well, if not the sewers, then where? I guess just
continue over
general.
Yeah.
No, your friends just sent you a magic message, basically saying, "Are you okay?"
I'll say ask me in a minute or 2. I'm being pursued.
Great transition over to Morton. Morton, there are people climbing down a rope above you. They're coming down after you. You're in the sewers. You can't see super great yet. You're human, right? Yeah, mostly. Okay. So what are you? What are you going to? What are you trying to do? Stealth. All right, give me some stealth. Try to hide down there. I mean, they know you're down there because they saw you enter the sewer, but
MGS action.
19. All right, so you kind of blend into the shadows and cannot be seen nor heard by most people. But where are you going to go? Proactively, how do you get out of this predicament?
I'm just heading away.
Heading away? Just running through the sewers because you don't know it? Absolutely. Give me a survival check.
Okay. Okay. 11.
11. So basically super mediocre. You are stealthy while you're moving, but at the same time you keep encountering like little problems. Like you step on a mouse, right? That you're like, oh, I didn't even know it was under the water there. All right, and it squeaks and it kind of climbs up your leg and, just, and like pecks at a little bit of the something on your leg. And then after a while, you hear like a loud sloshing coming from a room ahead of you, and it doesn't sound like the sloshing of the sewers. It sounds like something big moving in the water.
Peter. Okay, I'll blend into the shadows as best I can. I guess.
You're already blending.
Okay.
Are you going
Am I
to
still following?
make a perception check?
Perception. 6.
6. You don't think so.
I don't think they're following me. Are there any places to hide? Is it all like a bunch of smooth walls?
I mean, there's definitely places to hide. Some of them are underwater. Some of them are in muck. Like there's depending on how desperate you are and how
Can I get out of the sewers?
can you get out of the sewers. So that's kind of the tricky part. Is that
Okay.
theoretically yes,
Okay.
but you'd have to find another exit
Yeah.
from where you came from.
Yeah.
They probably do, but you're running around in the dark. So you can search. So basically, what this will turn into is just like a skill challenge where you're trying to make survival checks, but there's bad things that could happen down here in the sewers to you as well.
Okay.
Or you can, if you had some other means to handle the situation. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if you have options.
And minor illusion can't cast a light, correct?
Minor illusion does not make light. No, light. There's a light spell that would make light.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. I should have some. I have a lantern.
Okay, you can definitely light a lantern.
Okay, I'll light a lantern.
So you've basically made some distance. You've gotten away from where you were at the start, and then you're like, "Shit, I have a freaking lantern!" Right? So you swipe it out of your pack. It ignites down there,
Okay.
and you see that you're actually on the edge of like a cistern in the sewers that's got a lot of swampy, mucky water in it, and there's large bubbles breaking the surface in front of you. What?
I'm getting syphilis, aren't I?
And you're also getting syphilis. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the long problem. The short problem is that there's a tentacle coming out of the water and reaching in your general direction. It's kind of like feeling along the wall towards you.
Would you like some of this?
Okay.
And you shoot the tentacle. That is always an option, good sir. You should never ask. You can do lots of things with tentacles, actually.
But don't ask about that.
I prefer clean tentacles.
Know that there is such a thing?
Clean a tentacle.
Oh my god. We got silverware.
Searchlight
Being
there.
vicious, that's what I'm doing. Stealing these chips.
Do it. Is that like your tithe?
Yes. It's for being amazing.
You got tight feet. Uh-oh.
I got a specific thing I'm looking at here. I'm certainly hoping it's in this book.
Is it under T for tentacle?
It should be, but it's not.
Maybe you have to watch her in water.
Ah, there it is.
Cthulhu.
Excellent. Okay. Go ahead and give me an attack roll to try to hit.
Okay. Can I strike with advantage of myself?
Actually, yes, you are stealthy enough that I will consider it advantage. So go ahead and roll twice.
First is 10, second is...
So the highest total was 10? 10. Yeah, I mean, you have every advantage against this tentacle. However, you're out of breath and you just hit your light source on, and so there's a bit of stinging in your eyes, and you manage to just bounce an arrow off the wall right near where the tentacle was feeling. With the motion of your shot, the tentacle whips over in your direction, and is going to make an attack roll against you.
Oh,
There's only 2 people in this, so I'm not going to make like initiative rolls because that's kind of silly when it's just you and somebody else. So that is going to be a 13 to hit.
okay. My armor's 14. Does that
14, that means it misses.
Oh, nice.
Right? So it comes over. This tentacle is like a big. It's not like an octopus tentacle. It's more like a long appendage with a big sort of flappy thing with lots of little cilia on it that kind of like grazes against you and looks like it's trying to get a hold of you, but doesn't actually manage to make purchase. It is really close though. With that, you hear voices also now coming up the hallway behind you. Not really a hallway, but like the corridor behind you.
Can I sneak past this thing, or is there any chance?
At this point, it knows like where you are, and so it's still possible to sneak. But whatever that thing is, it's definitely going to be harder since it's literally touched you.
Okay. I mean, can I, like, my next turn, instead of like attacking with the intent to damage, can I attack with the intent to push out of the way and push past it?
You can actually make like a bull rush if that's what you're trying to do. Then yeah, absolutely. So go ahead and make a. The only problem is that is a strength thing that you're trying to do, and you're probably not as strong as you are as dexterous.
Yeah, I have a +1.
Okay, then go ahead and make a strength check, and add your +2 to it.
+2.
Yeah, so you've got +1. Give another +2.
Okay, so 10.
So 10. Let's see. Oh wow! So it rolled a 3.
Okay.
It's this thing is fairly strong. That only brings it up to a 6. So you manage to pretty much just like smash right through this tentacle as it's trying to grapple onto your chest with this big pad of cilia filled tentacle goodness. And as you push forward through it, like a larger portion of it comes out of the water, and there's 3 additional main tentacles attached to a large, like warted body of some bloated creature as it comes out of the water. Also, then a quadruplet of armed, like I wouldn't say guards, but armed people comes running up the corridor behind you, and like, there he is! Oh my God, what is that?
Tentacle's actually going to secretly be your savior.
And they make a lot of noise, and this creature has, you realize, no like ears on it, or no eyes either. So it like whatever it's using to sense the world, it's not normal senses. But with the loud, maybe it's the reverberations from their voices, all of the tentacles kind of turn in the direction of these 4 louts and start like grabbing at them and stuff. So I'm gonna give you another turn to do something. What are you gonna do?
Run.
You're just gonna run. All right, great. So you beat feet. You're getting the heck out of there, and you've still got your lantern out, so you kind of have a better idea of where you're going now. And you hear like screams coming from behind you that slowly disappear into your memory, as it were.
Oh, we're good.
I would like you to make another survival check in your attempt to find your way to an exit.
Okay. 14, a decent roll for once.
All right, yeah. After I'll say that since it wasn't a fantastic roll, you do find it, but it takes you a little while. So about 30 minutes of poking around and prodding around, you do manage to find 2 holes of light coming through a similar manhole at a different part of town. You climb up a ladder, and you can kind of see a little bit out of the light, and there's just lots of dazzling lights and brilliant light going on up there. But at least it's not wet.
Okay.
Okay, it's prestidigitation.
Yeah, he does not have prestidigitations.
Oh.
somebody else's turn to be covered in excrement.
Who hasn't been there?
Your shop's open.
So you're going out of the thing? All right. So climbing out, congrats. It's the Circus Epicus. And you are climbing out of a trash heap in one, like, I wouldn't say corner, but one part of this big festival that's going on all around you. And there's like a line of two lines of people nearby that you realize are a line of men and women that are going to like the outhouses that are in the back area. And I'm gonna have you stay there for a moment, and we're gonna check in with the others. All right, so party, so remote party that did not go into the sewers. What are you guys up to?
I think we're just headed to the Zerkiskin Quinter as well,
Mhm.
to meet up with Zakaria.
Right.
Okay, where do you think that you're meeting in the Quinter exactly?
Probably the Whisper Shroud Citadel is where Peril's going to head to, because that's the focal. She figures if Zakaria's somewhere around, she'll just try casting out message if she's hiding somewhere.
Okay, that makes sense actually. So I would say that you two groups, because I said that it took like 30 minutes for Morton to make his way out of the sewers, that you do eventually find each other kind of near the outside of the Whisper Shroud Citadel. You're carrying the body, right?
Yeah.
So you guys probably arrive first because you don't have that. Even though Zakaria is quite strong, it's still like, tricky. How long does invisibility last, by the way? Is it a
An
minute?
hour.
It's an hour. Okay, so you definitely get there in an hour. Like it's a decent jog across town, but not too bad. So yeah, you encounter each other outside the Whisper Shrouds.
I think we should find Asta
I agree.
and maybe before she becomes visible again.
Yeah, and I'll go into the Whisper Shroud Citadel and see if I can find someone who can help me with directions. Or anyone who seems like receptive. I don't know if they have like quite the same reception hall as the Vigdaladonians, but
Yeah, not quite, but they are very ceremonial, right? So they're open pretty much 24 hours, and when you get there, they're actually doing like they've just finished up some sort of burial rite with somebody, and there's people like leaving through the main exit. And so the Whisper Shroud Citadel is mostly actually underground. It's like this big open tube with crypts along the edges that people are buried in, and then there's kind of like it's almost like an adornment that's above things. But over this big tube in the middle, suspended above this long pit, is an altar that they do a lot of their like sacrificing and or other rites on. And there's some people that are just like cleaning up, and they're being taken away. And one of those people you see that was probably leading the rite is Asta.
oh, she has no idea who I am. But I'm gonna walk up to her anyway in my disguised form and be like, Asta, I need your help.
Oh, what exactly? I mean, I'm always, who isn't ready to give help to somebody? But what? Who?
Please, I was on your tour a couple of weeks ago, and I need you to come outside with me just for a moment. Maybe you can help me. I desperately need it.
Oh, the tour. Then you're familiar with me, and you're also familiar with. And
Rigor Mortis, I'm so glad to see you, but could you please come outside?
All right, kid, I'm coming with you.
It is the best. I'm
Do-
getting
do-
back.
Do you think this is a good idea, Rick? Oh yeah, let's do it. Okay, all right, class, let's head outside. And she's apparently just talks that way even when she has no class. So she follows you outside.
Pearl's just so relieved that she found her so easily. She does not care, is ecstatic. So yeah, she'll pull her outside and hopefully hopes that she recognizes some of the rest of the group.
And she very much does. Like she sees Honor and Zoom, and she doesn't really seem to recognize Zoom right away, but she recognizes Honor. It's like, oh, I remember you. Oh, you were one of the. You were so excited in that little trip that we took out to who was the state? Was that the McMasterson or something like that out in the edges of the town? That was a wonderful journey. That was. Did you learn a lot when you were out there?
Do you happen to have a private chamber that we could discuss in? Anything a little bit more remote?
A private chamber? Could I, what kind of business is this exactly?
It has to do with the dead.
Okay, that I'm glad to hear that. Do you have is there an undead that I need to silence or something? I thought we cleaned most of the town.
It's a bit sensitive. Could we just talk in a...
I see. Well, we do have some alcoves, some meditation alcoves for those who are pondering making the transition to the afterlife. If you would like to follow me, we could probably use one of those.
Let's...
And she leads you on, and while she's talking, she like holds up Wriggle, like behind her, and he's just like, all right, so what are we doing? Yeah. Oh, hey, lady, I remember you. You're looking pretty, you know that?
Thank you, Wriggle.
Love the muscle. Yeah. Okay, all right. So you said this is somebody dead. Is it like your boyfriend or something?
Hit
Something.
All right. Well, I'll take that as a maybe. All right. So, oh, Regal, stop being like that, she says to her own puppet. And then they finally get into an alcove, and there's like a little candle there, and a basin with some water, and some cloth that is like rags or spongy type things that are used for cleaning. And there's what is clearly like a sacrificial dagger, like on a display type thing that's just kind of on there on the wall. And Asta gestures you to some stone benches and says, "Please sit down. Close behind you, and I doubt we'll be bothered here. Now, what seems to be the problem?"
I'm gonna look at Wriggle.
Peril drops the invisibility concentration and also drops disguise self.
Oh, like for a moment, the first "oh" you realize was not like the horrid "oh" that you'd expect of somebody suddenly realizing that a person had a dead body draped around their shoulders, but was more just like the "oh, there was one more Christmas present under the tree" kind of "oh." And then the second "oh" was realizing that they've just been catfished on Tinder, right? So she looks over at Peril and is like, "Oh, my goodness!" And I can't help but notice the resemblance.
Is there anything you can do for her? I can pay anything you need. I'll do anything you want. Is there any hope for her?
She steps in and she says, "Oh dear, there's nothing I can do for her, but there is something I can do for you." And she gives you a big hug. And she just pulls you close, even though she's like shorter than you are. And it almost looks like you're the one that's, comforting her, but she's very, it's a very firm grasp. And she pushes you back and she says, "I know that death is hard. And I know that you want her back more than anything right now. And I know that you can't imagine that feeling ever changing. But you should also know that this is what makes life beautiful, is knowing that at some point it will be over. And you should be thinking now not of how to get her back or what maybe you could have done to prevent it if that's something that happened, but just think about the wonderful things she did in your life and what she meant to you." That's
I only wish I knew half the things she had done.
yeah. Were you close with Is it your sister?
It is my sister.
Oh,
Can you cast anything to communicate with her? Anything to know how she got this way?
I
Who
can.
did this to her?
I can, but I just want you to realize it can be very jarring. When I cause words to come from her mouth, it's not your sister I'm really talking to. It's just the body. The body knows things. It still has some connection to the mind, but your sister's somewhere else. Okay? And I'm worried you're not emotionally prepared for that right now. And you might want to take a little bit of time. Have you cried? Have you had a chance to really grieve her?
No, we just found out.
Okay. I'll do it if you want me to, but I just want you to know, you know, that like your friends here, we're here for you.
She takes like a deep breath and nods.
All right. Well, first, let me do a little something for the body. And she kind of holds a hand over the unmoving form of your sister. And the body isn't healed per se, but it's given like a post-death vitality to it. Like like someone had just gone and done really good makeup on it, and like the bits are in the right place. The neck is made better so it doesn't look elongated anymore. Um, the eyes rest, closed instead of being in different ways, and this will make the body keep for a while, um, and also will make the discussion with the body less jarring. Now, here, put it down here on this bench. And she gestures to one of the stone benches.
Gently set her down.
Thank you. The connection to the body is tough. It can withstand a lot, but when we resuscitate it, when we bring it back, it will take a toll on what remains. So we can't have a long, meaningful conversation with it. Um, Generally, it's only a couple of questions. It'll give hopefully as good responses as it can. Um, I strongly urge you to not try to find closure with your own emotions via talking to the body. It is not. It never ends up being a healthy turn for you. Okay.
Understood.
All right. Let me begin then. And she traces an outline on her chest of like a bow sort of crucifix type of thing, but with a curved line. And as her finger finishes the second pass through, you can see that her hand has started to shimmer a sort of uh, like aquatic style reflective green type of thing, almost like it was in a pool of water. And she spreads that over the chest of your sister and over her head, and the green sort of infuses into the body, um, and then the jaw slowly falls open, and it takes a breath. Asta nods to you.
What happened in the temple all those years ago?
Beryl, it was not something I understood or understand yet. I'm sorry.
Where have you been?
searching for a way to not be the last of our kind.
Did you find it?
No.
Who did this to you?
Lassiter.
She like rumbles in her throat, like the same growl. I think she looks to Asta to see maybe how much time she has left. Have you been happy?
I was happy for a while. I still love you. And then exhales. And the body lies still.
And she just falls to her knees and cries.
Asta comes over to you and puts her arm around you and just whispers. You don't even hear the words, but you know that they're consoling and they're nice. And she kind of glances at the rest of you to kind of maybe take a step back. And yeah, what do the rest of you make of this?
I'm gonna give her some space, but I'm gonna kneel on the floor just within Pearl's eyesight and kind of bow my head.
What about Zoom or Morton? What do you? Oh, I guess not there. Zoom's not there.
Or Morton.
Yes, or Morton. Yeah, geez, Morton. What do you? Zoom. What about you? You're there.
Okay. Zoom will he will be visibly disturbed at the talking body and keep his distance. But right, respectfully.
Fair enough.
When Asta fixed the body, did that clean the body and everything like that?
Yeah.
I think that she would just kind of cover the face, and then just kind of kneel down too and kind of be respectful and everything.
I feel I have seen a lot of dead dragonborn recently. I don't know if it is just ill luck or ill fate or
Peril shakes her head when she starts to say that. And she says, like, kind of, like, is still completely distraught, but her face hardens over from, like, absolute grief to, like, turning into stony fury. And she's like, it's not luck. It's not unintentional.
I'm no friend of Lassiter and his ambassadors. I don't know what I can do for you, beyond what I've done.
You've done everything that I could have asked you to.
Are you able to give her, and I'll look at Peril for like, is this okay? A proper burial?
Absolutely. I would not consider any other way. It is the most barbaric thing I can imagine what was done to the Dragonborn at the gallows. There is nothing that someone of the Dezectric faith could do to anger those of my faith more than leaving the dead hanging for public display. It is repugnant, it is ugly, and it is evil. I'm glad, I assume that this was one of them, that some closure could be brought to them. But it has not been an unstressful week in Basilica City.
Pardon my asking, but how have the Zorsiskans made any attempts to retrieve any of the Dragonborn bodies.
That is a good question. There have been many, myself included, who think that we should have simply gone in there and claimed them, as is the right of our religion. But we have been cautioned against it by leaders of our group who don't want to start some kind of holy war. If I I don't know what to say.
How easily put aside values are.
What's that?
How easily put aside values are for
Yeah,
politics.
well, I think some people just didn't have values to begin with. I I would see I can see very few things worse than the disrespect shown to a body, to someone's life, in fact, by lacking disposal in this manner. I think it shows a complete lack of understanding of the very soul that makes people people. So when I say this, I want you to understand exactly what I mean. When I would wish very much to see Lassiter hung from the back of a stagecoach and ridden around Acopia until his legs tore off and his body was ground into dust.
I will see it done unless there's something else worse that I can think of in the meantime.
She puts her arm on your shoulder. She says, anything I can do.
She does the same and like squeezes on it. And then she's going to go over to her sister. She's going to gently pull back the shroud that Honor put on her face and look her over and see how she's changed. And then she's going to growl and she's going to say, I swear on all gods known and unknown that I will make sure he pays for everything he's done to you and anyone else like you. And then she's going to just rest her head against her forehead and then kiss her on the forehead and then put the shroud back over her. And then she'll turn away.
All right. Well, I think leave her with me. The final preparation is probably something you don't really want to see, but when
Is there
we're
anything
ready,
that we or
not really, but I don't know. Lassiter is almost completely unapproachable. No one has an in with him. We can't get close to him. We can't. I don't know what to do about that problem.
if we had an in, would you join us in doing so?
Absolutely.
We're staying over in the Vigdaladonian quarter. We're at the inn there. The
Harborview.
Yes, I was looking up the name. The Arborview Inn.
Ah,
If you need to call on us, you can find us there.
of course.
And if you remember our names, I'm Honor,
Honor.
Peril, Zoom, and Zakaria. Please feel free to reach out to any of us.
Of course. Yes.
And we'll try to keep in contact and let you know if we can get in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe see if there are any more people who would be willing to join you too.
I would be surprised if there weren't plenty. You should know that the Lassiter's influence, however, is not insubstantial.
No.
Especially amongst the Zectric, who believe that spectacle and power are more important than being a good person, I guess.
But is one greater than the other 4?
It's a good question. I hope not.
We are 2 people who believe in 2 different gods, and yet I believe that we could come together. And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe some other of the Quinters have some problems with what he is doing and trying to take over the entire city. He is creating imbalance between the 5.
That's for sure. I completely agree with you. I don't know what exactly to do about it, but I have some thoughts. I have some old acquaintances I might ring up and see what we can do.
I'm wondering if you have any connections to any other of the other 4. If maybe we can.
Not me personally. If you, I have been doing this job for quite a long time, darling, and I don't do cross-functional things as much as I used to. You may want to see if you can find sympathetic ears yourself, though.
I know someone we can talk
We
to.
know one person in the Gallivander sect, and I'm from the Big Daladonian, and you're from Zorsiskin. So it just leaves the Lemurians.
My sister. We can go see my sister.
Okay, so we know one more person then from all 4 sects other than the Dezectrin. Maybe we can. Because then it's not just a war of every single Quinter against every other single one. It is rebalancing of one trying to imbalance all the others.
Yeah, I am a little scared of what might happen if the gods get involved. It is one thing to ask them for small miracles, to help crops grow, to take care of the dead, to improve our senses and our capabilities. It is another to ask the gods to straight up kill the followers of the others. I don't know what would happen.
I don't know if it would necessarily be that we would do that, but it is. We are still agents of ourselves. And we live in
I'm
the
gonna write
city.
that down and share that with my next class.
Are there others in the Dissectron Quinter who are not part of Lassiter's ambassadors, but who agree with him? Or is he standing?
I don't know. There probably are because not all people are the same, even with amongst a single belief. But he's risen to power for a reason. Part of it is his overwhelming charisma, but it's also he's got connections and he's got uh, leverage on so much in the city. Yeah, I don't know. You could try. You could try.
Might be worth a look
Well,
around.
thank you. We really appreciate your help, Asta,
Yeah.
and your
likewise.
kindness.
I hope this comes to something fruitful.
I think as do we.
Yes. Thank you.
And I think we'll start to.
Okay. She kind of
Peril-
puts arms on your shoulders as you walk away. Like, it was great to see you again. I'll take care of your sister.
Peril will just give her like one final like pat on the shoulder as they all leave and then go.
Okay.
Carol, what was her name?
Clarity.
I remember her.
Thank you.
I will write her in my books that no one will forget her name.
I only wish I knew more of her story. And then I guess we head back to the inn to See poor Zamboni.
Wow, back over to Morton, who's in the middle of this festival of stuff going everywhere. Oh my God. You know what? They might be ruthless bastards at times, but they freaking know how to throw a party, these Dezectrix. There is like these two spotlights that are going everywhere. There's live music. There is like all kinds of different foods. There's people doing, you know, juggling and other types of display. There's crazy animals that are kind of galumphing about, and people are being like, "Oh, look at this!" They've even got like a gigantic beetle the size of a carriage that people are riding around in. That seems kind of crazy. They're like paying for rides on it. There's a big top on one side of the fair, of the circus / fair type thing. There's a couple of little smaller tops over there. This is all next to the aqua turbine down in the Dezectric quarter, so you can see that big gigantic rotating turbine like this with the big like lightning tower going up the middle. That is kind of like the center of the Dezectric faith. And smells of food are somewhat piercing through the pungent odor that is your skin and clothing. Yeah, this is where you're at. What are you gonna do?
I guess I'll watch the show.
All right. So there's a couple of different shows that you can watch here. You can go. There's like some little like magic shows. There's some that are dancing. The big top. You don't know what's going on in there. There's a gigantic line though. And food vendors. There's like curio shops. There is all kinds of stuff.
I'm telling clothes.
Anyone selling clothes? I'd say probably, yeah. There's probably over because there are people selling all kinds of different things. So you see someone selling basically the equivalent of like jester garments that are with like the motley hat and stuff. There's there's also you notice that there's like some people wearing brightly colored sort of like uniforms. You know, I wouldn't call them a uniform in the sense of them looking organized, but they're very shiny and they're all the same. And they're handing out little wands to kids. And these are similar to what you guys saw on the bridge. They're these like little like prestidigitation wands that can shoot out little like fake ice blasts and fake fire blasts. And so there's just like little kids going around going like all over the place, creating quite the display everywhere.
I'll get a fire wand.
Go to fire one, nice. So it's like the guy gives you like a little bit of a look, like you're kind of too old. He's like, oh, whatever, here. And then he like gets a sniff of you, like, whoa, man. If you the latrine's back there. If you need to, you know,
Get fresh water.
yeah. Just don't jump in the aqua turbine. There's life in there, and I wouldn't want you to kill literally all of it. Okay.
Can I get like a change of clothes?
Please do. There are novelty clothes over there that are being sold. There's also some animalistic garments that are like tailor made down near the animal section of the where we keep the animals. Those are kind of smelly though, so I wouldn't go for those. You know, you're not really getting much of an upgrade. Yeah, I don't know. Just man, I'm gonna go over here. Like you realize that like there's a throng of people, but they've made like a circle like around you, like a rock in a river.
I'm gonna get a change of clothes. I'm gonna go wash my clothes in whatever water's in it.
Okay. Yeah, and there's some spigots of like well water. Let's say that like
You would hope for a gesture outfit.
Yes.
so you'd have to spend like a gold on a full set of new clothes. But you get like it's a multicolored thing, so you got like half red, half green, and then tights with little boots that have bells on the tips, and then a motley hat with additional bells, and each different like stalk of the hat is a different vibrant color. It also comes with a small thing of white face paint.
Okay, cool. I don't really have any plans. I guess I'll just wander aimlessly to see if something calls to me.
All right, absolutely. You can just wander for a while. I think we'll probably jump over to others while you wander.
Okay.
There's you probably have a pretty good time though. Zamboni, it's still only been like an hour or two for Zamboni, so you're still trancing. Herbert is looks like he might be getting a little impatient though. He's woken up and is kind of pacing the room. I can't remember what you said you would stop.
If he tried to leave.
If he tried to leave, he hasn't tried to leave yet. But he does occasionally come over to you and is like, "Whoa."
And the comedy continues.
I don't get it. Is this part of the game? You're the scarecrow, aren't you? Oh, I bet my farmland is going to be all safe now because of the scarecrow.
Can I talk while I'm trancing?
No. All right, back over to the illustrious four. Grab one of these bumpies. Excuse me.
I think we're just going back to the inn, right?
Yeah.
I am probably going to pull aside Zakaria and Honor.
And on.
And
Zoom's just like.
I'm probably going to pull them aside and say in Celestial, I need to tell you a little bit more about what I found. If you'd like to go into one of the rooms and we can...
So you're just like, everyone but Zoom.
I'm assuming I was more, like when we all got in. Kind of
Okay,
thing,
I thought it was on the way when we were walking, and
I thought so too.
it's like,
I mean, I don't know if they'd sorted it out, but I assumed the three girls had a room together
Yeah.
anyway.
that was
so
my thought.
Sure, okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
I don't know if we need to save for Zamboni first.
I assumed we were already at the inn, and I was just kind of like...
Okay, all right, so you get to the inn, and then you're to the R Review Inn, and Zamboni is in one room with Herbert, and Zoom, you just kind of leave him to his own devices and go into the ladies' room. And what conversation transpires within?
Okay. She's going to take off her pack. And she's going to go and take out of it. And you realize it was at the very bottom. And almost looked like it had been hidden almost slightly magically. And she unwraps a book. And when she unwraps it, you see it's made out of dragon hide. Real dragon, not dragonborn. And she says, "This is the book I found. I wasn't as forthcoming in front of everyone because I didn't just hide it. I didn't think of any place that I could hide it better than just keeping it with me. It says the Dragonborn must die for the Great World Dragon to exist. And it has a list of the name of every single Dragonborn living in it. So, if Lassiter knows this, he knows, and if maybe he found this before ever I did, because I'm much younger than him, then he knows the name of every single Dragonborn. He knows they all must die, which would include himself. If he wants to raise the Great World Dragon, it would have to come at his own death. It would have to come at your death. So unless he knows of a way to replace himself in that, but his name is still inscribed in here.
Is there any way, any ritual that he could become the Avatar himself if he should do this?
This book doesn't say so.
I'm sorry. Where did this come from, Anna?
It was hidden in the library where I grew up. We have a volume, pretty much every volume you can think of. And it was hidden in the back. because it was in Draconic and it was magically sealed. And I used to like to just go through those back stacks. And that was something I enjoyed doing, is reading books no one else had read in a very long time. And when I opened this, I somehow opened it. It just downloaded the information into my head.
You didn't have to read it?
I didn't have to read it. It just downloaded into my head. And it inscribed the name of every Dragonborn into my head. And it told me they all had to die. And I couldn't think of anything worse than genocide. And I refused to let anyone else find this book, which is the opposite of what I've believed my entire life, that everyone should have access to all information. But what somebody could do with that.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Does it? I'm like kind of recoiling from the book. Does it like talk to you? Is it a voice?
No, it's like suddenly you just know everything that was written within. So it's like you open it and it just like skips past the work of having to read it, and you just suddenly have known like you have read it. And I think I must have been in a trance. I don't know how long I was in that trance for. So, because I mean, I was back by myself, you know? I know it was some amount of time, but I took the book and I hid it. I kept it with me. So no one else could know this.
Can we destroy it?
Not that I have found.
You've tried?
I have tried.
Peril's kind of absentmindedly like worrying a small flask, like a wine or alcohol flask that she's been holding and considering. She's like, it's just so odd though. At some point, we stopped being able to procreate. However that's connected, is there anything about that in the book?
It says Dragonborn didn't exist until the Great World Dragon died. So it had to end for Dragonborn to exist. And the Dragonborn have to die for it to exist.
And that makes sense.
And we know the egg was buried about 100 years ago. And I think this book is bound in the actual hide of the world dragon. Well, of the old world dragon.
The thing is, I guess there's a couple of things. I still don't understand why we stopped being able to procreate, but that has happened. Whatever the connection is, and then I wonder who's just impatient, because at this point, we're all going to die. I don't have a problem saying it unless there's some solution we can find out of why we can no longer create new Dragonborn.
I'm wondering if the egg started to incubate and gestate at some point and is growing and has been growing. And the more it grows, the more the Dragonborn die.
Or the more Dragonborn that die, the more it grows.
I think it's probably, it's like a parallel. They both.
We don't know which is the cause and which is the effect, but it seems to be the connection.
I have a very strong assumption that it's the latter. I think as they die, based on how I feel myself, it gets stronger. Because as other Dragonborn die, I can feel it.
You can feel it.
Do you feel yourself get stronger if others die?
I do.
Which maybe that's what Lassiter is picking up on. Maybe he doesn't necessarily know this. Maybe that's what he's picking up on. He's a selfish man. And he's obsessed with power.
Maybe he wants to kill all the other Dragonborn and then kill the egg.
And absorb its power.
Yeah.
possible too. Maybe he knows some sort of spell or some sort of ritual that he can use that. I'm just not sure.
I mean, this book would be like it's trying to get you to hatch this egg or bring forth the world dragon, but it doesn't have the actual ritual of what would actually make the egg hatch. It just says all dragonborn must die.
Unity knows.
You definitely feel like the book wants that to happen.
Yes.
I'm going to take my
So
sword and stab the book.
I mean, she's like,
Honor is both like shocked but also delighted.
I'm like, here, I'll drop it. Like, don't stab me.
The ground. You're not just holding it. If you are, I'm going to grab it from you, put it on the ground, and stab it.
Okay. I was holding it this
So
whole
your
time.
sword, like, presses into it,
Mhm.
and you can't make any headway. Like, you put all of your force into this, and it's just like you stabbed concrete.
Armor.
Is the dragon hide any color that I recognize?
Sorry, I used to block bullets with it. Sorry, what did you say, Peril?
Is the dragon scale hide any color that I recognize, like red, blue, silver?
It is gold colored.
Should open it up and then stab it because maybe it's just the skin that's.
Mhm.
And I can roll for it. Does it look gold dragon or does it look like something other than just a normal gold dragon?
Like celestial, kind of.
I mean, it looks. It's not. So if this color and luminescence of gold you don't see in Dragonborn, right? This is like extra shiny. Especially part of the reason you know that it's actual dragon scale and not like the hide of a Dragonborn is that dragon scales don't tarnish. So this is as nice looking the day that it was, removed from the dragon in whatever fashion that happened, as it is today. So the thing is, you don't, and it's basically unknowable to know that much about dragons themselves because they basically haven't existed for so long. But you know a lot about Dragonborn, and you have a connection to the dragon, yourself, like when you're near the egg.
I worry that if you try to open it to stab it, you will trigger it
I don't
down
want to open it. I don't
Yeah.
want to open it.
Yeah.
I want to open it. I don't touch it, but I'll say it because I don't want to Honor's done so much in terms of lending this knowledge, and she's had the experience that I don't want to trespass on that. But
If you would like to open it, I will be here by your side. And if it takes a long time, I'll be here to. But
she hesitates just before she touches it, and she's like, I don't know everyone's motives. I trust the both of you. You've been there for me since the start. But we do have to address what the rest of the group thinks. Because if this is an endeavor that they don't want to go on, I'm going to kill Lassiter.
we're talking about continuance of your species versus a god.
There's only so much of us left. We're going to die one way or the other unless we find a way to have Dragonborn procreate again. I've already resigned myself to that fate. I can only imagine there's a couple, half dozen of us left at most.
And honestly, if the information that Lassiter has found allows a Dragonborn to become the world dragon, would we want it to be him?
Absolutely not.
Definitely not.
No. So,
But I trust the both of you to decide how we fold the others into this.
I wanted to make you aware because I feel it affects you more. Even though I'm the one who's been hiding this information, it affects your very life.
My life wasn't the one I worried about, and the one I did is gone. So,
Well, I'm
all that matters now. Well, I appreciate you both that you do. But the only thing that matters to me now is making Lassiter pay. And if it's at the expense of my own life, it doesn't matter very much to me. except to see it done. And if something has to bring the world dragon back into existence, I see no greater cause than that. And I'm going to touch the book.
All right. So you touched the book. It is. I'm going to describe this from the outside first. So to everyone that's not Peril in the room, so Honor and Zakaria, you see her reach forward and touch the book, and it doesn't seem like anything as interesting is happening. She opens the cover, and the pages just start going in front of her. And they do this for a few seconds. It turns into a minute. It turns into 5 minutes. And she doesn't seem to be bored or paying any attention to the rest of the world. It's just stuff that's going on right in front of her. It's almost like how we talk about like a kid looking at an iPad right now, you know, like she's on her book again. Harold, from your perspective, you have a 10-ton semi shoved into your ear. Okay, you touch this book, and you aren't really aware of anything except that stuff is being shoved into your brain as hard as it can, as fast as it can, and it's an instant, it's a year, it's an eon. It doesn't really matter. There's just the words and the names, and you speak Draconic. You are Draconic, right? And so you get a similar information that Honor got. This understanding that out there, like you imagine the entirety of Acopia as all of these black and white dots. And the black dots you don't care about, and the white dots are the Dragonborn. They're your brethren. They're your sistren, and they keep vanishing one after another. But each dot gets a little bigger when it happens. And you're vaguely aware that there's a name for each dot, that there's a person associated with each dot. The difference between you and Honor's experience, though, is that you don't see each dot as a whole. You see each as a part. And these parts are coming together. And when the experience finishes, it's been, for everyone else, it's been an hour. For you, it's been a blink of an eye. You know that there is a list of names. And there is you. And you're on the list, and Lassiter is on the list, and there's 4 names that I'm not going to go into right now, but they're not people you recognize. And
that's it? 6?
That's it. That's all that's left. 6 combinations of people. 6 parts put together. And one of the last names that you see, one of the last parts that you see is Clarity. Removed and added, and when it went out, you remember that same feeling you had a few days ago when suddenly you felt your charisma surge through your body and you got stronger. I think we're going to end right there, just because it is 3:40 and that's a pretty good ending spot. But I want to thank you all for an absolutely fantastic session. That was great. It went completely different direction than I was expecting it to, but you know, whatever. That was a good one too.
My name's a
It was quite an emotional one.
Sorry to hijack
Yeah.
things, guys. Shit.
Okay. Good.
Wow.
Good session.
Wow.
So some stuff came together there.
When she's finished, does the book shut itself?
Yes.
Okay.
I think Honor's probably going to bundle it back up.
Basically, but it's almost like a loading GIF, you know, like it might be cycling.
I think Honor's going to like wrap it back up and hide it and put it back, you know, to continue, you know, keeping it where it was, you know. putting it under the dragon chest, in her bag.
No one will easily find it.
It's like under the ladies' personal things. Nobody's gonna look here.
Oh yeah, just put it behind the tampons.
Yep.
No guy. Cool. That was amazing. I'm honestly just flabbergasted how cool that ended up being.
That was good.
Wow, thank you so much. That was great.
Yeah, it was so good.
I was not on my game with my one little tiny conversation. I should have done that better. That's what I've spent the past hour in my head, having a way better conversation with that guy.
Like Jeremy said in those episodes, when you have stuff that's really weighty, you have the stuff on the side that you keep cutting back to.
Yeah. Don't worry, when we do the animated version of this, like,
Yes, exactly.
we'll spice your
Yeah, get the
B plot up a bit, yeah.
If it makes you feel
When we
better
get our
after last
Netflix
session,
contract.
I have been thinking about, what did I say to Gertrude?
Yeah.
Netflix contract.
That's Melissa.
Yeah, sorry. I was lurking, and I was watching the stream, and I just figured out that I could also have just watched you on Discord, which is much better than watching the YouTube stream. Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt. Y'all are awesome so far.
Oh, I'm so glad you got to watch. How much did you watch?
Hi.
Hi.
There's cats over here asleep. I don't know, like maybe about the last half hour or something like that. So I came in when you were like, we will drag him through the streets and like started agony. That's not working. I was like, oh, okay, all right, interesting.
Wow. Right in the middle of
Sorry, I didn't mean to be like, but I was like lurking on YouTube, and then I was like, oh wait, but you're just like in the channel on the Discord. So
You can just hop in.
anyway, sorry to interrupt. I didn't mean to like interrupt you in
Well,
here.
we were just wrapping up, so it was a good timing. I do think that like if we are mid session, like mid session, like I wouldn't want someone hopping in right in the middle of Peril talking about her sister or something like that. But glad to see you afterwards.
No, I think what I was thinking I would do is, maybe I'll like join and be muted and watch. But I forgot that when you come in on Discord, it's like here, and I'm like, oh shit, sorry guys. Hi there. You don't know me really, but like I've been hanging out recently. Anyway, so sorry.
That's okay. We're going to work on your sessions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
2 hours. Any final thoughts from people's?
I know you discussed last week about possibly going up a level today.
Oh yeah, well, I thought we were gonna turn in Herbert, and that was gonna be like finally the end of that quest line, and it'd be like, yeah, level 5. I think we can do it. Let's do it between now and next session. Go ahead and level up to 5.
The best level I ever had, because that's all I did today.
You're gonna wake up and be like, God damn it, I feel great.
And you're gonna be like, wow, babysitting really helped me make me feel so much
so much life experience from babysitting this man, this hostage that Peril's never gonna let go ever.
No.
Oh man.
That poor boy.
Well, now I know that Honor has her marching orders for tomorrow when she talks to Nilsa. And because
Just watching her cat.
it is now basically, I guess, it is kind of a war that we are.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, this is gonna be real interesting.
Jeremy's like, what the hell do they do?
Well, they real man now.
It's like, we're going to organize a war against this guy.
I was hoping we could return
I just want you to-
to
Oh, the accordion.
yeah.
The accordion.
And we need to return the boat to the...
Yeah.
that we
on my mind.
You also, in theory, we're going to be haggling on the behalf of Mistress Unity, trying to about the teleportation gate, but
We are actually at least I don't think we were actually going to.
I thought you.
Oh, I was thinking we could still do that, but without bringing Herbert, we could be like, oh, we can access Herbert maybe and not bring him with us.
I see.
Right.
I don't see anything in
I'm
it
wondering
for
if we
us
could
to
also maybe
bother with that.
have it with Mistress Unity that, what about if we brought about the death of Lassiter? What would you give us? Would you help aid our cause? You would have all the access to his research then that you wanted.
Oh, Mr. Steve.
That is a direction.
It's not one that Perils will be against, I promise you.
I mean, not the nicest,
Currently,
but
has a to-do list, and it just has one checkbox on it.
Yeah.
Kill Lassiter
Kill Lassiter.
If
in
you
the most barbaric way possible.
if you thought she was unhinged before, girl is like off the rails now.
It's Arya's list, except it's just one name over and over
Yeah.
and over again.
Lassiter. Lassiter.
Yeah, I didn't see any reason why we would bargain on Mistress Unity's behalf. There wasn't anything left to care about that.
I think now she makes more sense as an ally, actually, if we're going to start this war.
I feel like Zakaria, at the very least, and Honor care about the souls of the poor people in that town.
In the town. Yes, but I don't think Mistress Unity is the right answer for them.
No, agreed.
I don't think helping her out is in anybody's best interest except for hers.
No. I just want to play everybody against each other to get the best out of it for the people.
Zoom only
That's
cares.
fine.
if
I'm
you
in
can
favor of
rob-
that. I don't think that bargaining on Unity's behalf.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Honor also feels that he must know something, and he must have access to a book that is not public. That he must have in his house somewhere.
All right, so
It seems to me that what that book told you is the last Dragonborn becomes the world dragon.
See, I didn't get that part, so I feel like when Peril tells me that, maybe I'll pick that up, because that, I think, was only something a Dragonborn would get.
Yeah.
I'm officially going to stop the stream now. It doesn't really change the conversation at all, but I figure, like, if we're going to be doing Thoughts of the Future, it makes sense to stop